We have to wake up and start doing our own research and discriminating what is truth and what is not. And the best arbiter of truth I know is your own gut. I don't know that there are objective truths out there. The world has become so complicated. It's so hard for people to sort through all the different information. And food is the worst, because they tell you that coffee's good for you one day and bad for you next, or then it's red wine, or then eggs are off and milk is on. And, you know, how do you sort out through this information? You have to get knowledgeable about holistic lifestyles and healthy food, and start looking at the websites that are about it and where they are compared, and where you can find the list of chemicals you should never put accept any body care product that has certain chemicals in it. You know, just yesterday out in the street, somebody assaulted me with a moisturizer, and I said, I want to see the list of ingredients, and it's not on the jar. She said, here, it's on the box, microscopic print, of course. I said, methylparaben is something I don't put on my face. She said, oh, what is that? Right? People have to start educating themselves and demanding the purity of their products, and looking at everything about their lifestyles and their health, and discovering how much more fun it is to live healthy than unhealthy. Once you start to change your lifestyle and you try some organic food and you find out how much better it tastes, then you're going to look at that dish detergent that you're using to wash your dishes with, right? And you're going to decide, well, I don't think I want to use toxic cleaners in my house. It expands on you, and you just want more and more. You want organic fiber, then you want organic sheets, and you want, you know, your house to be pure and clean. And it's wonderful. I just stayed in a hotel in Tokyo that's the only organic hotel in the whole city. And it's fantastic. It's very, very simple, but it has its own restaurant. It has its own hot tubs. Granite hot tubs, best water filters money can buy on the inside, you know, so that nothing gets into the building that isn't pure. All the bedding organic, the walls, the shoji screens. I came off, you know, that long plane trip it takes to get across the Pacific, and went to sleep in that hotel and woke up fresh as a daisy, and then got to eat organic food. And businessmen were bicycling to this place to eat their breakfasts. So once people experience the difference, they get hooked, and they want sustainable lives. And I think that we just have to get our own publicity out on it and show people that life can be fun on this planet, even if it's a little hotter. I just came back from a trip to Japan from my sponsor, who's publishing my books there, who is a businessman in Japan selling the highest quality food in Japan, much of it produced by his own farms, organic dairy and beef farms and organic vegetable farms, and selling this food for the lowest possible prices. It's like McDonald's prices for the best quality organic food in the country. 300 restaurants that have people lined up outside for blocks sometimes to get into them. A booming, booming business that's making children healthy, the best yogurt drink I have ever had in my life, and that way Japanese children that can't maybe tolerate fresh milk can get dairy products of high quality. Anyway, this is role model business the way it can be in the future. Businesses don't have to exploit people and give bad services and tell lies about what they're doing. They can be healthy for the economy, but we must measure economies in the health and well-being of people, not in the flow of money. I lived in Washington, D.C. in the mid-90s when Carol Browner was head of the EPA, and I had the opportunity to give a little talk at EPA. And I'm afraid what I said to them was, I think that Carol Browner should issue 11,000 shovels and send you all out to plant trees, because you are sitting here in dark offices lit by artificial lighting, drinking coffee out of styrofoam cups and breathing, pardon the expression, each other's farts through the ventilation system. And that is not a situation that we should call our Environmental Protection Agency. Well, I wasn't invited back, of course. But and what I got from them was, Well, we can't talk to her. You can only talk to the next level up above you. And our job is to figure out whether there should be 225 parts per million or 226 parts per million of this toxin in the air or the water. And in other words, it wasn't doing anything about protecting the environment or promoting health in the country, which is what its job was. So as long as we've got that kind of a situation, it's going to remain unsustainable. But as I say, I see people demanding better service from their businesses and demanding healthier lives and making the choices that will push us in that direction. If 99% of physicians are not using alternative healthcare practices and products, that suggests to me that they are subject to huge fears of losing their credibility. And I believe that within the medical profession and fostered by drug companies, there's a constant putting down of alternative health care, and doctors are worried about being seen as authorities. They're worried about being sued for malpractice. They know that they will be backed up if they prescribe official drugs, but that they may not be backed up if they try something that a patient suggests. However, I do think that the waves of change are coming up. I recently gave a talk in Minnesota, and the University of Minnesota Medical School is now teaching intuition to their medical students, how to use intuition, how to work with patients' intuition, how to have real soft dialogues between doctors and patients where you treat the patient with respect and listen to their opinions and learn about what was going on in their lives when they got ill, a much more holistic approach. I also know that after I visited China in 1974 and brought back acupuncture needles and showed them to people, it was considered like really out of bounds, real woo-woo new age nonsense. And now many medical schools are teaching acupuncture. So, and insurance companies are starting to cover some of the alternative practices. So I see this as an evolution, but what we need is to get more information out in the media to show the role model doctors who are willing to go into the alternative practices and who see that they work. More acknowledgement of the heroes and heroines in the medical profession that have branched out and served their patients well. We just have to encourage this wave of evolution into alternatives where they work well. And we have to try to chip away at this scientific establishment and the businesses that fund it to see that good livings can be made from alternatives. Just because the high-priced drugs go out, most people can't afford them anyway. So we have to be aware of the importance of change if we want to stay, or if we want to make ourselves a healthy society. We have no choice but to start eating right. And look at the health food business. Since the 1970s, when it came in, it's become huge. You have chain supermarkets like Vons with a new line of Vons Organics. Just how organic are they? I don't know. What about Walmart and all its organics? But the trend, you see, is there because the demand is there. People want healthier food. Given the choice, they will go for the healthier food if they can afford it. And there's no reason why organic food should be more expensive than high-tech food, because the old family farm that I grew up on didn't have to buy any kind of chemicals at all and produced only organic food. We didn't call it that, but that's what it was. And the best article I have seen on food in years was in the New York Sunday Times, a long article about all our food fads and what we think is good to eat and what we think is bad to eat, all manipulated by various lobbies. If milk is bad for you, then the milk lobby is going to make it good for you. And if eggs are bad or whatever, cholesterol, this, that, fads. At the end of the article, the man made a wonderful statement. He said, you want to stay healthy? Don't put anything in your mouth that your grandmother wouldn't have recognized as food. It's that simple. It's that simple. We have to go back to reclaim the best practices of the past. The old family farm put 1 calorie of energy into that farm and got out 10 calories of food energy. High-tech agriculture has to put 14 calories in to get 1 calorie of food out, and that food probably isn't good for you. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. If we're going to think sustainability, we have to look to the past for the best practices and take them into the future. The problem is that many of the best, greenest practices are cheap, and therefore big companies won't invest in them. So people need to build sustainable local community where they are, to produce local food as much as possible. This economy, the gurus of the economy are telling you this economy is headed for a complete disaster. If tomorrow they announce in the newspaper that the economy has collapsed, please know that there will be just as many people, just as many machines, just as many farms. If everybody kept doing what they were doing the day before, they would be able to keep living quite well. Because the only thing that has changed are money blips on a screen. Money isn't even backed by gold or goods or anything anymore. So ownership patterns will change. Maybe the factories will be locked up, but if you can get through that lock and keep the machines going, you can keep things being made that you can trade for the farms that you hope will keep going. In Argentina, it took 2 years after the economy went through a complete collapse till the workers went back, opened those locks, turned those machines on again, and made things to trade with the farmers so that the economy could keep going. And they have been practicing real democracy there because grassroots people had to take matters into their own hands. Their authorities were gone. That's the good thing. With an economic crash, you are in a sense empowered. During the crash, after the crash of 1929, there were thousands of local currencies all over the United States. People printed their own money to barter goods and services. Food and manufactured goods, everything was bartered with local currencies. These are still legal today. As long as you don't make them look like dollars and don't call them dollars, you can print any kind of money that you can get your local community members to be willing to use as swap money, as barter money. And these are growing worldwide exponentially as the big financial systems get shakier and shakier. This is all part of our evolution of moving ourselves from an unsustainable, unwieldy, expensive, non-productive healthcare system to one that works for everybody, because we will grow our own food again, we will clean our local water systems again, we will be healthy again.